If you're a bivocational pastor, then this special flash episode is just for you. I'm Pete Mitchell, and in between our regular Church Planter podcast episodes, I'll be bringing you insight and ideas to help our bivo pastors have an easier and more profitable go at it. If you'd like more info on the training program specifically for bivocational pastors, you can check it out at missionbybusiness.com. All right, bivo pastors, I'm going to give you the secret sauce. So if you're bivo and self-employed in any way, painter, carpenter, mortgage loan officer, real estate agent, kind of don't care what industry you're in, I've got a simple solution that I have used at this point, I don't know, thousands of times. I can't even tell you how many people I've trained on this. Unfortunately, most people don't actually take action, which is kind of good news for you because that means you can take this idea and you can use it. So here's the general idea. Most people who've been in business for any length of time have a database. And that database is going to be of current clients, past clients, prospects, people who've reached out to them but they haven't done business with. And what we want to do is we want to tap into that database. In fact, anytime I talk to a business and I find out they have a database, I realize, number one, they are sitting on a gold mine and they just don't realize how big of a gold mine they have. Most businesses give up on their leads long before those leads are ready to purchase, ready to make a decision. And so because they've given up, really it's whoever they end up talking to at that moment or whoever keeps following up with them that ends up getting the business. So the genesis of this idea, and I didn't come up with this myself. I've learned it, used it in my business, used it for my clients, and you can use this in your business. Use this with your clients. Is simply this. If you have a database, we're going to reach out to that database. Now, I train a lot of real estate agents on how to do this strategy because that's just one of the groups that I work with, and there's a lot of them. And they're always like, well, yeah, I got this database of people who've reached out to me, friends, family, people who went to an open house. They know who I am, but we've never done business together. And I'll be like, okay, great. So let's go ahead and reconnect with them. And essentially what we do is we send them something I call the pink elephant letter. This is an idea I learned from Tim Templeton. He has a great book called The Referral of a Lifetime. And essentially what we do with this letter is we're going to send out a letter and we're going to say, hey, you know what? It's Pete Mitchell here. I was taking stock of my business and I came to realize that the most important asset I have in my business is my relationship with friends and family just like you. And if I'm going to be honest with myself, I haven't been putting our relationship where it should be. So I just want you to know that I'm taking the steps to correct that. So know that if you get a text from me, an email, a phone call, a letter, a postcard, it's because I'm putting our relationship back where it needs to be, and that is first in my business. Sincerely, Pete Mitchell. P.S. I've got a great consumer guide on how to buy your first home. If you'd like to get a copy of it, you can call me or go to this website and I'll be happy to send it to you. So we always put in a call to action at the end of every letter. That's not something Tim Templeton would say. It's just something you should do in your business. So we send that letter out. And really the reason why we send out that letter is because the rest of the steps that I'm going to walk that business owner through, they will feel awkward about it if they haven't sent that letter out. You see, if you send out the pink elephant letter, do you think someone's going to have a problem if you email them or call them or send them a text message? Of course not, because you actually just sent them a really cool letter saying, hey, I'm going to put our relationship back where it needs to be, and that is first and foremost in our business. So then what we do is the next week, so 1 week later, we're going to send everyone an email. And in that email, we're simply going to say, we're going to put their name as a subject line in the email, and we're going to say, are you still interested in blank? Or are you ready to make a move yet on blank? So it's called the 9-word email. It was invented by a guy by the name of Dean Jackson. He's a phenomenal marketing mastermind. And it's a brilliant, brilliant email. See, what we're doing with this is we're literally just asking one question. Are you still interested in buying a home? Are you still interested in having your home painted? Are you still interested in getting your carpets cleaned? Are you still interested in whatever field of work you're in? Question mark, sign your name to it. That's it. What happens is when someone gets that, it looks like it was just sent to them. And so when you ask someone a question, they immediately respond to it because, you asked me a question. I should actually, tell you if I'm still interested in buying a car or selling my house or, whatever industry you're in. And so they will respond. In fact, we usually get about 55 to 65% of people to respond to that email. The beauty of that is now I've started a conversation. Now you and I can start talking about what it is that I do and what it is that you need. Think about that. I'm telling you guys, this is one of the most powerful things you can do. In fact, I can't tell you how many times I've told real estate agents to do that. And they come back to me and they go, Pete, I sent out that email and now I've got 3 deals. And I only had 100 people to send it out to. I'm like, send it out. I don't care if you only have 50. I don't care if you have 10. Send it out. Those of you who come through my program, the free training that I've got at missionbybusiness.com, you'll notice if you don't set an appointment with me, what's the very first email you get? It's actually a little bit longer than the 9-word email, but basically it says, hey, I don't mean to be all creepy. I saw you watched my webinar and you didn't set a call with me. Are you interested in setting a call with me, right? Because I'm going to follow what I actually preach. I'm going to tell everyone to do what I do. So if you're a BIVO pastor, you're self-employed in any industry, use that. So we've got the letter, the pink elephant letter. Then we've got our 9-word email next. The next step is everyone who doesn't reply to the email, we're going to send them a text message. And our text message is going to be personalized. So it's got to just be going to one person. And we've got a whole system that we use for that. But it's going to be like, hi, Bob, Pete Mitchell here from Profit Hacking Solutions. Are you still interested in getting help with marketing your business? ? That's it. Now, what happens when you get a text message? You immediately look at it. What happens when you see it says, hey, Pete, or your name, hey, Bob, hey, Susie. And then it says who it is, Pete Mitchell here. And then we've got our question. Well, shoot, man, this guy actually sent this to me. I can't be rude and not answer him. I've got to actually reply. So when people reply, now we start that conversation. And if they say, hey, no, I'm not actually interested anymore. Great, now I take them off the list. If they say, great, I'm so grateful that you followed up with me. Yeah, I'd like to talk with you more about it. Now I've got an opportunity to make a sale. Now, for everybody who doesn't respond to that, and by the way, there's some ways that you can bonus that. So one of the things that I do is I'll actually send it with a selfie. Sometimes that helps people remember who I am, right? So I'll send it with a picture of myself, a selfie of myself. And then they're like, okay, that's who sent this to me. So that's step number 3. Now, step number 4 is we're going to send out a sly voicemail. So what's a sly voicemail? Sly voicemail, I'm sure you've gotten them. It's where all of a sudden you got a voicemail on your phone, but your phone didn't actually ring. And so that just allows us to leave a message to a group of people. And of course, this can't be personalized. It'll be something like, hey, Pete Mitchell here. I was just reaching out to you because you hadn't responded to the email or the text that I sent you. And I just wanted to follow up and see if you were at all interested in, and then I usually pivot to a little bit bigger offer. So if it was, something smaller, like, hey, I've got this training program. It might be, hey, I've also got some open spots for some done for you stuff. So I usually go to a bigger offer because sometimes what people want is actually a bigger thing, not a smaller thing. What most businesses do is they immediately go down to the small thing. Like if you do tax returns, maybe they were looking for full accounting for their company, but all you were approaching with was tax returns. And you're like, hey, if they won't do my tax returns, or if I can't do their tax returns, then they probably won't let me do their business books. Not necessarily the case. It could be what they're looking for is the bigger thing. So I always go with that. So I pivot on the sly voicemail to a higher, better offer. That's as simple as it is. And by implementing that right there, you can have a huge boom in your business. When you take this idea and you take it to other businesses, you can cause an explosion in their business. So this is one of the very first things I do. Every business that brings me on as a marketing consultant, as a business growth consultant, one of the very first things I do is I do this strategy for them. Now, sometimes that means we don't actually send out the letter. The real key with the letter, the pink elephant letter, is it's not for the person receiving it. It's actually for the sender. It's what makes them feel good about then sending the email later and then sending the text message and sending the sly voicemail. But that's the strategy I want you to know. I want you to take it and I want you to implement it. Pink elephant letter, email, text, sly voicemail. Do one right after the other. Usually we do it 1 week apart, but you could do it every couple of days if you wanted to, and you will see a huge increase in your business. And if you're a business growth consultant, you'll see a huge increase in your client's business. So of course, that brings me to my call to action. If you're a bivocational pastor and you want to see the free training that I have set up for bivocational pastors who want to become business growth consultants, or at least want to take a look at that opportunity, head on over to missionbybusiness.com. I've set up a free training there. Go ahead and check it out. If after you're done checking it out, you like it, you can set up a time to get on the phone with me. I'd be happy to talk with you. I've actually had the opportunity to talk with a lot of great bivocational pastors this week. Most of them are listeners of the podcast, which is awesome because they already kind of know me and I don't really know them yet. So it's kind of fun and exciting for both of us. So I want to encourage you to do that. Head on over to missionbybusiness.com and check it out. Thanks so much. I'll talk to you soon.